Hello. Are you getting enough respect these days? Are you giving yourself enough respect? That's our topic tonight. I'm Dan Bagley, and welcome to Release Your Wings, because tonight I'm talking to Shireen Chada about respect. Good evening. Now, how important is this respect thing, Shireen?
I always think it's like the most important thing, because the essence of actually the study of the Brahma Kumaris is two words: respect and self-respect.
Respect and self-respect.
Respect and self-respect. And actually both of them are slightly different in that respect is what I do and self-respect is what I am. Is being aware of what I am and respect is what I do. And I feel if we set right being aware of what I am, then respect automatically comes. So if the being is fine, then doing is good.
So is the basis of this total self-acceptance, is that the key, or is it something else?
Not necessarily. You don't want to accept too many of your weaknesses. The basis is that we are aware of who I am originally. So I accept my own divinity. If I am actually living in if my weaknesses or I'm having defects right now, then that is not exactly self-respect.
Okay, but it's not who you really are at the deepest levels.
Yes, it's not who I really am at the deepest level. At the deepest level, I'm divine. At the core, I'm divine. And if I accept that divinity and I live that divinity, and that is self-respect.
And so, as relating to self, you relate to others as well. Is that the case? In other words, are you seeing other people's basic divinity all the time?
Yes. You're seeing other people's basic divinity all the time. And also, there is a respecting people also is respecting them not for their divinity too, but also like their opinions maybe, their part of who they are in their lives, all of those things.
So what if you have someone in front of you whose opinions are so diametrically opposed to yours? Is it harder to respect them?
We have to understand that respect doesn't constitute agreement. I need not agree with people. I don't need to agree with their opinions. But I can respect him for who he is.
I see. So you can disagree yet still be totally respecting that person.
Exactly, right. And also, I feel there's a real wisdom in giving respect to people, because only when I give will I receive.
Now that's an interesting thing. So in respecting others, you're telling us that you get respect in return, almost mirrored back to you.
Yes, that's the only way actually.
I see.
There's no other way, I think.
So you cannot demand respect from somebody.
No, you cannot demand respect from someone. And also, when you demand respect from someone, I feel because you get it sometimes, you don't get it sometimes. And so it's kind of fluctuating. And then if you are dependent on the respect you're getting from people, then your level of confidence or respect for yourself also keeps fluctuating.
Right. So when you demand respect, it's kind of like saying, I'm not giving it to myself first, and I'm not getting enough from you either. Is that right?
Yeah. And the basic question is that I'm not really giving it to myself first, and which is so important, why I have to give it to myself first.
Right. So, excuse me, respecting others, respecting self, how does that relate to, say, respecting the environment?
You know, when you respect the self and when you respect others, I think respect for the environment naturally happens. But to be aware that I'm feeding off of the environment, that the earth really is protecting me, is sheltering me, it's giving me what I need. And the environment, I feel, respect for the environment also includes not to take more than what you really need.
That's an important piece. So we've talked about wants versus needs. So conspicuous consumption is not a demonstration of respect.
Yeah, and also if you're feeling low about something, it's not really useful for the environment for you to go shopping, because you're really disrespecting the environment. And also, I feel if you disrespect the environment, that comes back to you quite quickly. And you're seeing that in natural calamities. And we were just talking before how this has been the second coldest winter here. And I feel it is a culmination of a lot of people disrespecting the environment.
Aha. So the climate change and all is just an accumulation of that.
Of the disrespect, yeah.
So within that respect, family, I would assume, is part of the respect pattern. Is that right? So we have self, others, possibly family, community, environment.
Environment, yeah.
And all of those things.
And
So, yes.
others, when we talk about others,
Oh, yeah.
that I feel that we should also consider that it would include all nationalities, all religions, or everything.
So that's
And the environment would also include animals,
all sentient beings.
all sentient beings.
I see. So in showing that respect, it seems like part of that is do no harm. But I would also think that sometimes when we label others and judge them, the very act of labeling them, is that a disrespecting thing or not?
Yeah, actually it's a very important point you're bringing up, because when you think about respect, I feel if you really know who they are, minus the labels, then it's very easy to respect them, because in essence we're all the same.
Right.
I mean, we might look different. Our year, make, and model of the cars,
Sure.
the vehicles we are driving around, might look different, but internally, you know, at the level of the being, we are all very similar. The divinity is same. We have the same parent. All of that is the same. And if we are able to sit in that consciousness, then it's very easy to respect.
So in respecting, I'm hearing this is, for want of a better word, a totally self-enhancing strategy, because respecting others, one, you get respect better, but also you have less resistance with everything around you. Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Yeah. Also, when we think about respect, we also have to think about tolerance.
Ah.
And tolerance, especially in that, it's not that, oh, I'm tolerating racial differences, but tolerance in that whether there's respect or disrespect for me, whether there is victory or defeat, whether there is success or loss, that I have the same view about life.
Equanimity of sorts.
So, yes, everything that is tolerance, that I'm always in a state of giving. And if you think about Christ, because when I was especially thinking about respect, I was thinking about Christ, how everyone in the world has so much respect for Christ. Even if they're not Christians, they have respect for Christ. And I feel the respect for Christ was because he tolerated so much.
Love thy enemy as thyself,
Yes,
which is exactly...
and he modeled it in his life. He modeled that in his life. And so because he tolerated so much and he established the religion in the face of such opposition from everything, that's why people have so much respect for him.
And so within that, I'm hearing your philosophy, your BK philosophy, actually being pretty much in line with most of the religions of the world. Like our bodies, like our cars, on the surface they may show up differently. Most people don't dress in white as you do. But pretty much beyond the surface, down to the soul level, it's just us.
Yeah, it's just us, and also they have the same desires. They have the same aspirations for life, not desires. Have the same aspirations for life as I do. And to be able to really respect that divinity of them.
Right. So you're of course familiar with the term namaste. Is that kind of, I honor the divinity in you? Is that the respect you're talking about? Yeah,
namaste actually means I bow. I bow to the light in you.
To the light in you.
Yeah, light or divinity, you could say. But the bowing, I feel, is the tolerance part. That I'm able to really be able to give that, acknowledge that light.
Now, many people probably out there can say, wow, boy, it's hard to respect, fill in the blank, my boss, someone at work, someone who's acting out badly. How do you get to that point? Is there a technique?
Yeah, there is actually. The simplest technique is to find their story. There's always reason for behavior, bad behavior.
Right.
And you know that in children. I mean, teachers who teach very little children, they always learn that. There's, reason for bad behavior. And so even as adults, there's reason for, if someone's behaving badly, that there's reason for bad behavior. Yeah. And so it's to find out their story. Somehow get close to them and to find their story. When you're distant from people, it's very easy to disrespect them.
So if you knew your story, you would say, "There but for the grace of God go I." You would understand that it makes total sense that they would be acting out or showing their pain in ways that aren't particularly appealing to us in the moment.
Or let's say someone is a bigot.
Yes.
And they don't like you for whatever reasons. And if you know their story, then you would know why. And then it's easy to understand why.
Right. And so understanding that, then you avoid the same game of you're a bigot, therefore you're less than, etc.
Yeah.
You're just saying, it's you in there, I know.
Right.
In that sense. That's nice. So do you ever personally run into someone that you have to do take a deep breath and look beyond the surface?
All the time.
Okay, good. I wanted you to fess up to that now, because I actually don't see it in your behavior, but we're good enough friends we see each other, but not so good of friends that we see each other in our worst moods necessarily.
You know what? I do believe in universal brotherhood, which is what respect is for me, universal brotherhood. But I don't have to be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
Not now, anyway. Maybe soon I will be friends with everyone, but I'm not at the point where I'm friends with everyone yet.
But, there's some amount of thinking that suggests that if somebody really gets under your skin, that might be your next best teacher. Does that make sense?
Yes, the best teacher.
Because they're touching something in you that you haven't resolved yourself.
Yeah. And also, I feel that if I have this judgment, right, this person is good, that person is not good, then that's really not love.
Right.
There is everyone's good.
So the judgment of sorts is, I hate to use the word violence, but it really is mentally cutting someone down.
Yeah, especially if you, as a spiritual practice, to go back to your previous question, do I need to go and look at people, who they are, their divinity? I feel that is the practice I do. Even if I'm respecting or not respecting them, that's when I meet someone, that's the first thing I do, is I look at them in their divinity.
Right. I sense that. I really believe that. And that's a nice piece, because it makes it easier to have other people who are feeling different feel more comfortable with you.
Yeah, and then I don't have to work towards a superficial respect.
Right.
It's already inbuilt in the way my vision for them, it's inbuilt in my attitude towards them, it's inbuilt in just the way I'm looking at them. And so I don't have to work too hard after that.
Exactly. It seems to me so basic to what you're saying, but in the pragmatic world, because I work with executives and salespeople and the like, and I say, tell them you cannot judge someone and develop true rapport with them simultaneously, because you're pushing away while you're pretending that. And it picks up, we do pick up on it, they're phony or something like that. So your answer to that is, so don't judge them, see the divinity in them, and it makes it really easy.
Yeah, and if we make that practice, I feel that's the key to having respect for people and for self-respect, is if I make that a practice. As soon as I meet someone, that I'm able to just look at their divinity, look at who they actually are, not the year, make, model. Look at who they are. And then it really makes me sit on my seat of self-respect, and then I'm able to give that to everyone.
What a nice world we have if we can all give each other that amount of respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
And I hope you're feeling a little more respected tonight. Thank you for joining us.